This is for Joanna, my fellow student at St. John's in the late 60s. I don't know if you can access these YouTube, but you wanted some more of my biography. And there's something that I want to confess, a true confession. I didn't write it to you in my former biographies, but when we were freshmen, a number of us, including some tutors, went to the little campus for drinks or dinner, I forget, and you were sitting right next to me, and I sort of touched your foot under the table, and you were very modest and quickly moved away, and so that's one true confession. But I was in search of, I suppose, romance. And the other true confession is that your best friend Foxy, in the senior year, I was away for a weekend, and she came by my room and brought me some little gift of, I think, cigar, Tiparillos or something, because we smoked in those days. And she mentioned to me that she had, when I came back from the weekend trip, that she had come by, and I always wondered what might have happened if I had been there, and it seemed like one of those windows of opportunity, but I never pursued it. So there you have my true confessions in those regards. I did tell you, I have my timer set for 8 minutes because this is a 10-minute limit. Bottom line, how quickly can I think of all these things? I was raised with no religion. All the religious readings at St. John's, Aquinas, Anselm, Augustine, Paradise Lost, Milton, Dante, etc. piqued my interest in religion, and the study of ancient Greek inspired me after graduation to learn modern Greek and then to become Greek Orthodox at St. Barbara's in New Haven. And I remained Greek Orthodox for about 20 years, only drifting away in my 40s because I was disillusioned in myself partly, and partly I was disillusioned in the bishops of this old calendarist group that I belonged to. They all began squabbling with one another, and each one insisted that all the others were in heresy, and that they were the last true bishop on earth, and that the Antichrist would soon come. And so I did drift away. But I did spend some months in a Russian monastery and 13 months in a Greek monastery in Boston, which I very much enjoyed. The irony is that one of the senior monastics at Boston went to St. John's through his junior year, before I ever came. And he was greatly admired by Jacob Klein, and when I left the monastery I visited St. John's for some days, and I saw Jacob Klein, and I mentioned this student that he knew, and he was very interested in what had happened to him. Well, he was in the monastery for perhaps 20 years and taught himself ancient Syriac, among other languages, and became world famous for his scholarship on St. Isaac the Syrian, translating his works for the first time. He left the monastery after 15 or 20 years, I forget, and as irony would have it, he became a professor of philosophy at Fordham, and my stepson had him for a class, and at the end of the class, so he wouldn't get a failing grade through anger, mentioned me, and the professor, who was Father Mamas, I won't say his name in real life, did remember me, and he's now pursuing studies and works on the pre-Socratics is what attracts him. But a brilliant man, and the world is such a strange place of serendipity and coincidences. I got into, this is skipping ahead a bit, but I became fascinated with the internet 10 years ago in 1998 with a free GeoCities site, which was called Hinduism and Interfaith Dialogues, because when I drifted away from Greek Orthodoxy, I began to explore Hinduism and Buddhism, and began by attending temples and meditation centers in my spare time, and I also began to read about many different religions, and I wrote about it at that site. I did discover that things were more easily marketed to people, more easily acquiring their interest and not frightening them away if I switched my label to literary discussions, which I did when I came to MySpace. And I did try to write a novel at my little website that I pay for, which is too small for supernova.org. But I ran out of energy and ideas, so what I did write is there, and my poems. Time to stop recording.